All right, we're live. But before I get into tonight's codings talk, I found a really cool app I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to be posting on the community pages on this app. It's called Paint Calc Industrial Painting. You'll find it in the productivity section on the App Store if you're looking at iPhone, but also too, it's available on Android as well. You should check this out, download it. You can sign up for free with it, and I'd try it out. I really enjoy this app. It's pretty cool. Looks like it's available in multiple languages, so definitely check it out. I'm going to start posting on here on the community area. So I think it's going to be a good way to communicate to a lot of people in the obviously in the industrial painting and also protective coatings communities through this app. So check it out if you get a chance, you get an opportunity. Let me know what you think too, because I think we need to talk about a lot of the different tools and assets that are out there available for people, especially like Paint Calc. So check it out. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Codings Talk. This evening, we're stepping into a side of the industry that doesn't always get the spotlight, but absolutely determines who thrives and who struggles when the market tightens. We all know the technical side of coatings, surface preparation, environmental controls, even resin chemistry. But the truth is that in 2026, the business side is where the real battles are being fought. Across the industry, contractors are navigating labor shortages, unpredictable schedules, and customers who expect more documentation, more transparency, and a lot of other things more than ever before. And manufacturers are facing their own pressures, compressed pricing, supply chain swings, still supply chain swings, and a tightly competitive landscape where product parity is real and sole specification is earned, not assumed evermore. Asset owners are demanding proof, not promises, and everyone is being asked to do more with less profitability. And that's why this conversation really matters now, because in a tight market, success isn't just about having the best coding system or the most expensive, experienced crew. It's about commercial discipline. It's about communication, and it's about building trust, reducing risk, and delivering values in ways that go far beyond the specification and project requirements. The companies that win right now are the ones that understand how to align technical credibility with solid business strategy. So, we're going to break down what contractors can do to protect their margins, what manufacturers can do to stand out in a crowded field, and how both sides can work together instead of working at cross purposes. This is about practical real world strategies that help win bids, close projects, and build long term relationships, even when the market is tight. Now, I'm proud to say that this broadcast is brought to you by Apelix Drone Solutions. They're the leaders in robotic spray painting technology for industrial coatings. If you're an industrial painting contractor or you're an asset owner looking to boost productivity, improve safety, and deliver more consistent coating results on vertical structures, it's time to take a serious look at spray painting drones from Apelix. These aren't the consumer drones. They're purpose-built, engineered industrial drones to solve real field-level challenges and support your bottom line, as well as provide you additional revenues and profits with the use of drones. Apelix spray painting drones allow your crew to apply liquid coatings to elevated or hard-to-reach surfaces without ever stepping onto scaffolding or onto lifts. And this means fewer safety risks, fewer delays, and dramatically lower setup costs. And because the drone maintains a precise standoff distance and travel speed, you get a uniform field build. You get reduced overspray and repeatability of quality across every pass. Now imagine completing a tank exterior, a stack, or a tall structure in a fraction of the time with a smaller, focused crew that's safely on the ground. They're managing the operation. That's the power of Apelix. It's not replacing painters, it's augmenting your production, giving your team a smarter, safer, more efficient way to work. And if you want to improve your margins and you want to show that you're an innovator and deliver high quality results with smaller labor demands, Pellic spray painting drones are the competitive edge that you've been waiting for. So just email me at jim@procoattech.com to learn more about Appellix and also to discover how drone applied coatings can transform your next project. Pop up the little disclaimer here. Now, before I talk about this broadcast topic, I really want to stress that this live stream reflects my personal opinions, interpretations of current public news, reports, trends that I'm seeing, and also openly available information related to the protective coatings industry. The insights shared here on this broadcast are based solely on my professional experience and my understanding of these publicly reported developments. They should not be taken as official statements, forecasts, or positions of any company or organization that I'm affiliated with. Viewers, that's you. You should always evaluate all information independently and consult with appropriate and industry recognized sources when making business, technical, or strategic decisions. Now, the market feels tight in 2026, and that's because every pressure point that used to be cyclical has become structural. Contractors are dealing with labor scarcity that isn't easy. Even as project backlogs grow, material costs have stabilized compared to the spikes of the pandemic, but they haven't really returned to those pre-inflation norms, and volatility still forces contractors to bid with uncertainty. Asset owners, meanwhile, are demanding not only more documentation, as I mentioned earlier, but also more inspection readiness and more proof of performance and requirements that add time and cost without always adding revenue. In this combination, it creates a squeeze where even well-run companies feel like they're working harder for the same margins or less. And manufacturers are experiencing their own version of the same tightening. Product parity is higher than ever, meaning technical differences between protective coating systems alone rarely win a project. Distributors are pushing for competitive pricing. Asset owners are scrutinizing lifecycle claims, and supply chain disruptions. Well, they do still exist, even though it's not as dramatic. Now, while there's still unpredictability out there, and this can really lead to all types of problems that are happening in the industry right now. And at the same time, customers are expecting more field support, more training, and more technical guidance, all while resisting price increases. And the result is a commercial environment where value must be demonstrated constantly, continuously, because it can never be assumed. And these pressures converge into a market where both contractors and manufacturers must operate with sharper commercial discipline. The companies that build trust through consistency and transparency. The tightening isn't just economic. It's a new way of modern business. It's operational and it's truly relational. And that's why understanding these forces is essential before discussing how to win within them. Contractor profitability in a tight market is determined long before that first gallon of a coating is open. The biggest wins or losses, they happen in estimating, planning, and workforce execution. When surface preparation hours are underestimated, when containment or environmental controls are priced too lightly, or when mobilization costs aren't fully captured, the project is already underwater before any skilled craft worker boots hit the ground. Add in the reality of potential nonconformance of rework, that often results from being a rush prep, inconsistent crew skill, or miscommunication with the quality control, quality assurance inspectors. And margins really can evaporate little by little. In this environment, contractors who invest in training, enforce industrial painting process discipline, and document every step of the job, they build a buffer against these hidden costs. Now, profitability is also shaped by how contractors position themselves commercially. Owners and engineers increasingly expect transparency, inspection readiness, and proactive communication. Contractors who deliver clean documentation, respond quickly, and demonstrate control over quality, they earn trust, and that trust results typically, well, it leads to repeat work and better bid acceptance. Strategic partnerships with manufacturers and with distributors that can further stabilize pricing. It can improve technical support and also reduce risk on complex projects. So, in a tight market, the contractors who win are the ones who treat every project as both a technical execution and a commercial opportunity, aligning field performance with business strategy. Manufacturers are operating in a landscape where product alone is no longer the winning card. In most protective coating sectors, be it pipelines, storage tanks, marine infrastructure, marine vessels, even original equipment manufacturing, structural steel, well, technical parity has tightened. Many resin systems perform in similar ranges, and many more specifications now allow multiple approved products. And asset owners increasingly view coatings as interchangeable unless a manufacturer can clearly articulate the why behind their system. That means that the real competitive edge now comes from everything wrapped around the product: field support, specification guidance, training, documentation, customer service, on time delivery, and the ability to help contractors and owners reduce risk. Manufacturers who show up early in the project cycle during design, engineering, budgeting, and let's say surface planning, well, they shape the job before the price even enters the conversation. And the expectations placed on manufacturers today, they've expanded. Contractors want rapid technical responses. They want pretty much on-site troubleshooting and training that helps their crews avoid rework. Asset owners want lifecycle clarity. They want that inspection readiness I talked about and transparent performance. These are claims that are backed by data. And distributors want stable pricing, predictable lead times, deliveries, and on very clear communication when supply chain issues arise. Meaning all of these expectations, they require a level of commercial discipline that goes far beyond selling gallons. It requires the manufacturers to operate as partners, not vendors, to be educators, not just suppliers. And the companies that win in this environment are the ones that invest in technical enablement. They communicate proactively and they build trust through consistency and transparency. And at the same time, manufacturers must navigate their own internal pressures: margin compression, raw material volatility, and the constant push to innovate without overpromising. New chemistries, single coat systems, high solid epoxies, sustainability focused formulations. These offer opportunities, but only if the value is communicated clearly and honestly. Overstating performance will always erode trust. Aligning claims with real world conditions builds it. In a tight market, credibility becomes your currency. Manufacturers can demonstrate how their systems reduce downtime, simplify application, or extend asset life will stand out even when budgets are tight and competition is extremely fierce. Where contractors and manufacturers meet is often where the industry's biggest opportunities happen, but also, too, the biggest frustrations. That's where they live. Both sides depend on each other to deliver successful projects, yet their expectations, their timelines, and their pressures don't always align. Contractors are focused on executing work safely, efficiently, and profitably under tight schedules and typically unpredictable field conditions. And manufacturers are focused on ensuring that their products perform as intended by supporting specifications, maintaining credibility with asset owners. And when communication is limited or assumptions replace clarity, even small misunderstandings about cure times, surface prep requirements, or inspection criteria, These can all cascade into delays, rework, and typically what happens, finger pointing. The collaboration gap isn't about intent. It's about visibility. It's about timing, and it's about shared understanding. This gap becomes more visible during project planning and early execution. Contractors often need rapid answers on product selection, environmental tolerances, or troubleshooting, while manufacturers may not be looped in until a problem arises. So, pre job conferences, mock ups, and shared documentation can dramatically reduce risk, yet they're still underutilized across the industry. When both sides engage early, when they both align on expectations, when they both agree on inspection checkpoints, and when they both have communication protocols, projects move from reactive to proactive. And that shift alone can save thousands of dollars in avoided rework. And it strengthens trust between the teams, the coating manufacturers, the contractors. And guess what? It'll bubble up to the asset owners as well. There's always a commercial dimension to the collaboration gap. Contractors want stable pricing, they want consistent availability, and they want that quick responsive field support. And manufacturers want contractors who follow the specification and they apply the product correctly and they communicate issues before they escalate. When these needs aren't openly discussed, frustration always builds on every side. But when they're addressed through joint training, co-marketing, or long-term partnership agreements, both parties gain a competitive edge. And in a tight market, collaboration isn't just a nice to have, it's a strategic advantage that directly impacts profitability, reputation, and repeat business. Winning in a tight market requires contractors and manufacturers to shift from reactive habits to intentional, disciplined strategies that protect margins and strengthen customer trust. The companies that outperform their competitors are the ones that treat every project as both as a technical execution and a commercial opportunity. And that starts with clarity, clear scopes, clear expectations, clear communication, and clear documentation. When teams eliminate things that are unclear, when they eliminate rework, delays, and the friction that erodes profitability. Well, in a market where customers expect more proof and more transparency, those companies that can demonstrate control through inspection readiness, showing cure logs, environmental monitoring, and consistent communication, well, they're going to stand out immediately. And another winning strategy is to lean into training and technical enablement. Skilled crews reduce rework. Well-trained sales team reduce misalignment. Educated customers make better decisions and are less likely to challenge specifications or pricing. Manufacturers who invest in field support, contractor education, and specification guidance, they create loyalty that pricing alone can't buy. Contractors who invest in crew development and process discipline, they deliver more predictable outcomes and they build reputations that win repeat work. So in a tight market, training isn't overhead, it's a margin protector. And finally, the companies that thrive are the ones that embrace partnerships over transactions. Contractors who build long-term relationships with manufacturers, they gain stability in pricing. They get faster technical support and better visibility into supply chain risk. And manufacturers who collaborate early with contractors, well, they gain influence in product selection, reduce field failures, and they strengthen their credibility with ultimately the asset owners. When both sides share information, plan together, and communicate proactively, they reduce risk for everyone involved. So in a market defined by pressure, uncertainty, and rising expectations, collaboration becomes a competitive advantage. Now, I've got some questions to ask you. The first question I want to ask is, what's the biggest commercial challenge you're facing right now? And feel free, you can post it here in the chat, or if you want to, you can email me at jim@jimkunkel.com, your answers. But again, the first question I have for you is what's the biggest commercial challenge that you're facing right now? My second question is where do you see the most friction between contractors and manufacturers? Again, where do you see the most friction between contractors and manufacturers? And my last question is what would help you win more bids or close more projects? Again, what would help you win more bids or close more projects? So again, feel free to post comments or email me at jim@jimkunkel.com. Now, what I want to talk about, I'm real excited about this. Five and Rising. If you're not following Five and Rising on LinkedIn, please do that. Well, they have now two Pro Coat Tech wearables. We've got the hoodie and we've got the t-shirt. So before I close out this broadcast, I do want to take this moment to highlight something that's very special for the Coatings Talk community. And our friends at Five and Rising have officially launched a new collection featuring two exclusive Pro Coat Tech wearables, the Fit for Purpose hoodie and the Fit for Purpose t-shirt. Now, these pieces were designed with the same mindset we bring to our industry. They're purpose-driven, they're durable, and they're built for people who take pride in their craft. Whether you're working in the field, you work in a shop, or you're representing the coatings and corrosion world at a social gathering, these wearables let you carry that message with you. And as for first-time buyers, when you do sign up with the Five and Rising mail list, you can get a 10% discount. These are high-quality wearables, and they're definitely worth the investment. Get a little ROI on your wearables. So I want to talk about path forward, especially related to the tight market that we seem to be in. And I also want to say that, the path forward in this tight market, it needs to be defined by clarity. It needs to be defined by discipline and also defined by a renewed commitment to partnership across the industry. I'm talking about just workable. I'm not talking about anything about pricing or anything. I'm talking about working together. We are a community and we all have to work together. And I think that's the pathway forward in these times. The companies that will emerge stronger are the ones that recognize that technical excellence is only the starting point. What makes everyone different, if you're a contractor or a manufacturer, especially today, is the ability to communicate your value. You also need to address and reduce risk for the customer. That's important for the customer. And you also need to make sure that you are operating with consistency, even when conditions are unpredictable. We do not work in a very predictable environment globally. So we have to be able to deal with that. And we all know what we need to do. We just need to focus on that as well. And this means doubling down on the documentation. And there's so many asset tools out there when it comes to, I was talking about Paint Calc industrial painting app earlier. There's all kind of really unique things out there for you. And I'll be talking about a lot of that stuff moving forward too. But you want to make sure too that you focus on training and proactive engagement. And not because it's trendy, but because it directly protects margins. And that's important. But it also strengthens trust. So in an environment where asset owners, they're really expecting more transparency and proof of performance, the companies that can demonstrate control and reliability, they're going to rise above the noise. And the future also belongs to those who embrace collaboration instead of competition within the supply chain. Contractors who build long-term relationship with manufacturers, they're going to gain stability, faster support, and better visibility into upcoming challenges. And manufacturers who invest in contractor success through field support, specification guidance on that engineering side, and honest communication, they're going to create loyalty that pricing alone can't buy. As the industry continues to evolve, the companies that win will be the ones that treat every project as a shared mission, not as just a simple transactional exchange. The path forward is about alignment, shared expectations, and a commitment to delivering value that goes long beyond the coating itself. before I go in the comments, I want to say thank you for joining in this live stream and spending your part of your evening here on this conversation. You know, your time and your attention, your willingness to engage with the business side of our industry, that really truly elevates this conversation and the discussions we have. Every question, every comment, and every shared experience that you do share, that helps strengthen the protective coatings community. And it really pushes all of us to better practices, better partnerships, and better outcomes in the field. And these sessions work because professionals like you show up. You know, you'll be a contractor, a manufacturer, an inspector, or maybe you're an asset owner watching right now. And there are also a lot of other people in between. Well, you bring real world challenges and real world insight. And the goal is always the same, to create a space where we can talk openly about what's working, what's changing, and what we can do to stay competitive in this tight market. Your participation makes that possible. And I greatly appreciate more than you know. Now, as you head back into your projects and planning, I really do hope that this evening's discussion gave you some practical aspects to apply, maybe something strategic to think about. And I ask you to please, what topics would you like me to tackle on future live streams from Coatings Talk? Again, this is a community, and you're the most important part of this community. And let's go ahead and let's take a look at some of the comments that we do have. We got some highs, we got some hays. Okay, so we got pretty much everyone, not questions, but everyone's checking in saying hi. So, but that's also showing onto the screen too. So everyone, what I'd like to say, hope that you have a good rest of your evening, your night, and morning, no matter where in the world you're watching this live stream. Thank you, everyone.